each. We're going to be here for 9 hours at least, man. I'm feeling it now. Probably not, but expecting some good games nonetheless, of course. So starting off here with QsQ versus Complexity. QsQ, of course, on the Legion side. Complexity on the Hellborn side. So blind bands, we have Pebbles and Silhouette coming out here, and then Wild Soul Moon Queen. What is going on, Trev?
I wonder if this is one of their ideas of, okay, if you talk about and think about the heroes that work really well in the short lane, namely Draconis and Silhouette, because not only are they, I talk about this all the time, strong laners, but they also carry you to the late game. So I wonder if that's QsQ's thought of, let's ban one, lock the other, as they've done here, so that we have the strong, one of those heroes, and you don't have one. There are several that can do the same thing, but just not to the same extent that Silhouette and Draconis can do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's their strategy, but if it is, they will have that. The only unfortunate thing is Complexity locked both right now, Keep the Forest and Tempest. So it's a pretty risky move to pick up Draconis first at the lockpick phase and then give Complexity both Keeper and Tempest. So that's kind of a risky move.
That is.
And I don't know if that's what they're going to do. A lock onto Bomb and Torture, actually. Now, remember, Bomb is one of QsQ's kind of trademark heroes as of late. And Style specifically has been playing him very well.
Yeah, we've gotten the chance to see it at least a couple times. Now, there was one performance where it wasn't the greatest, but for the most part, it seems like it has been a good success for this QsQ team. And one QsQ's proven that they like to run some more of these unique heroes that other teams may not run. Voodoo Jester, definitely that other one that comes to mind. Bombardier, nowadays with Style, as you put it. So the overall lock pull started with Draconis, then there's the Keeper Tempest, Bombardier Torturer, and then Ophelia to wrap things up. So specifically, Complexity's locks, man. Keeper, Tempest, and Ophelia, all by Beakit over there from Complexity. Very, very jungle heavy. So definitely an interesting thing to point out there. Jerizaiah, Parasite, and Hammerstorm so far the ban. So Nova doesn't want to have to deal with Hammerstorm. I know Beakit and QsQ for that matter actually can play a decent Hammerstorm. So don't want to have to deal with that this time around. But yeah, very jungle heavy.
Jungy heavy.
Jungy heavy.
I'm very curious, actually, as I was watching some of the scrims this last week, and one of the games I actually cast with Beef from Complexity is that we saw this kind of the same lock, Keeper, Tempest, Ophelia, and I was thinking, okay, as first position, if you take Keeper, it's not exactly the greatest thing to take Tempest, Ophelia, because I really feel like Tempest as a long laner is just not the best. But actually, Complexity, they did that, and they threw a curveball. They actually sent Tempest solo mid, and then did an aggressive tri-lane with Ophelia. I wonder if we'll see that again today, actually, because it did work out very well for them.
Did you say Ophelia mid?
Did I say Ophelia mid? I meant to say Tempest mid.
Okay.
They did a solo Did I say Ophelia mid?
I think you might have, for some reason.
No.
Yeah, I got some confirmation over there. I believe you did.
Oh, okay. Well, they did Tempest mid and an Ophelia tri-lane.
That makes a little more sense. I was like,
although
whoa.
Ophelia mid does own face.
Okay.
It is strong.
Yeah. It's you pass up on the judgment. You just go the whole QW build. And
well, you can even go one judgment. You just take over a Minotaur. You hide it there behind mid the whole time. Then you level up your other skills. They never see it coming, man.
Or command, excuse me. That's what I meant. But you don't get the early codex. You're gonna be dealing some good damage with that Nature's Wrath. So obviously, a little bit of over the top there, perhaps. But hey. You never know. Wretched Hag, the first pick coming out here for QsQ. Pebbles of Luna, going to be the response for Complexity. I must say, Complexity, both teams for sure, but that's a strong duo to start with. The Pebbles of Luna lane going to be coming out here most likely from Complexity as a result of those picks. So, very, very powerful start for them. We'll see now how QsQ looks to respond. Again, an interesting thing with Complexity, they've been through role changes, and obviously, as we just talked about, now with QsQ kind of stepping in for this cycle at least, it's pretty apparent that he probably won't be their overall fifth in the end going into the next cycle even. But they have to make some role changes. And we even saw Franzi was stepping up as the captain role last weekend for at least a couple of the matches. So, but Beakit is back now to being the captain, of course. Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting to kind of point out there, but. Back over to QsQ, looking to follow this up. Nova using a bit of extra time, though. But Glacius and Mangebane looks like they're going to be their option. So probably not going to see Draconis over here.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, they're kind of forced to take Keeper of the Forest out of that lockpick phase. I feel anyway. I just want to go over the bans really quickly because I don't think we really touched on them too much. But Jerizaiah, Parasite, and Darkly they actually picked over by Complexity. But Jerizaiah, Parasite, Hammerstorm, Fade, Zephyr, and Plague Rider. So nothing stands out to me too much except for the Hammerstorm ban.
Yeah.
Darkly picked up here. I'm expecting the Keeper of the Forest to be picked up here. It would be, again, it would be kind of silly, so to speak, to give them both Keeper and Tempest. I have seen it happen, though. So, yeah, we'll see what they pick.
Yeah, I mean, so then, sure, you may be giving them Tempest Ophelia, but as you always, go to the point, you're not necessarily the biggest fan of a Tempest Suicide, but, still, when you get that combination of heroes, and Moon Meander has proven that he can at least play decent, it's the possibility is definitely there. So we'll see. You got to at least think Ophelia. It looks like it is going to be Tempest Ophelia, though.
I think they're going to do this again.
Yeah.
I think they're going to Tempest solo mid and do an aggressive tri-lane with Dark Lady in the solo short.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about. That's right.
It worked out well for them last time. Hopefully QsQ has done their homework and done the researching, because that's what I would expect from them this game.
Huh. Yeah, especially with the players and who's playing what. At least it looks like right now is Bombardier is going to be the final pick coming out here for QsQ. So sure enough, we talked about that at the beginning of the lockpicking stage, or when he got locked up, that is. And Styles ready to go. He's ready to go, locking up on that Bombardier, of course. Yeah, but especially with Moon Meander playing the Ophelia, and then actually Tempest, it looks like going to be played, but now by less QQ. You definitely expect that pseudo aggressive tri lane to be coming out here. So if you're Q Squad, and Nova, let's be honest, he's probably one of the most researched players in the game, and he definitely does his research, so something tells me he may be somewhat aware of this. If you are aware of it, what do you do yourself?
Well, you definitely don't pit up a dual lane against bottom. You definitely do not do that. But the thing is you don't really... You're going to have to put Hag solo short. That's really the only way I feel that you can do this. It's one of the only heroes you have with an escape mechanism. You could also solo short a Mage Bane and dual lane like a Bombardier or a Hag. It's kind of unconventional, but basically what you don't want to do is send more than one hero bottom, because it will just get decimated. Like you don't want to send two heroes bottom that are still going to have the same fate as sending one hero bottom. So it would waste the resources, a little bit of complexity, if you send just one hero bottom. And it does look like it is going to be a solo short Hag, so maybe they have done the research. And of course, I don't know for sure if this is the route that they're going to take, doing the aggressive tri-lane with Ophelia mid, but it does look like it, how Complexity is setting up their lanes right now.
I don't know, what Tempest items are those really mid items for a Tempest?
What does he have?
He has 4 mana potions, 3 minor totems.
Yeah, those are fine.
It's kind of a earlier on bottle push here. For him, I guess. So.
Well, he just wants to, and he's actually going to deny the long lane, but he just wants to keep lane control and, get an early bottle. I mean, it's not going to be the earliest of bottles, but I'm very curious to see who they send mid for QsQ. Perhaps the Bombardier and solo, or do a dual lane top of Mage Bane plus Glacius. Yeah.
It definitely looks like, again, Q Squad, out of all the teams out there, I think you could definitely make the argument that Q Squad really seems to be one of the more prepared teams out there. And they definitely are showing that they did their homework here. Mage Bane, Glacius, it looks like they are going to be heading top, and as you kind of were suggesting, perhaps... Actually, no, Wretched and Bombardier are going to be switching. Wretched was going bottom initially, but she is going to be going mid now, it looks like, and Bombardier, by style, he is going to go bottom. So what do you think is the reason for this change?
I don't know, but I don't like this. I feel like Bombardier is a hero that you can dive over and over again. He has absolutely no escape mechanism. He's an intelligence hero. He actually has decent HP right now because of the items that he bought. But he's just going to get dove. Like, if Moon Meander on Ophelia is able to get a nice creep, like a Minotaur to start, well, what do you know? You got a Minotaur to start. You can easily dive this bomb. Yeah, so I don't know. He's got to be very, very careful, but even then, he's already lost a little bit of lane control simply because of the deny early on from Tempest. And look at, okay, there's the wave. Bam. You're not going to get anything else. Unless you play too far up that you die. Which he's probably going to because they don't have vision. Yep.
And in fact, right on cue, here comes Ophelia, the Minotaur going in the front, so Bombardier needs to be careful right here. Style is still playing aggressive, and Style doesn't even realize it. The Minotaur coming in, Stalagmite's going to follow, and Moon Meander will pick up the Bloodlust. You really got to scratch your head there. What was Style thinking? It really seems obvious that Q Squad knew that was an aggressive pseudo-tri lane, yet he was playing so aggressive with no vision. Sure enough, Bloodlust kill.
Yeah, that was just a very, very big misplay. And also the fact that, okay, you have your Dark Lady top. She's been pooled regen. You have your Tempest mid. And then you have Pebbles Luna bottom. Like, where would Ophelia be? Why would Ophelia be in her own jungle with Tempest mid? Like, the lanes were already set in place. You know that. You communicate with your team. There was no reason to be aggressive right there. You should have expected that.
Yeah. Keeper of the Forest is going to run into Ophelia, but of course, especially being level 2, Keeper not necessarily going to be able to apply too much harassment. So Ophelia kind of runs away and will be more than fine. I mean, I was trying to make some logic here. I was actually Wretched taking a little bit of pressure. Going back at it with Tempest, though, back and forth. of why they would send Bombardier bottom, and the only thing I could think of is that maybe Bombardier has a little bit better chance to at least get some last hits in here and there with those, you know, the sticky bombs, with the what is it, the boom dust even. But you know, even that, it still just seems kind of silly. I think more so the escape mechanism makes more sense to go for than that logic. So. Yeah, I really am a little bit baffled here as to why QsQ decided to go with this in the end, especially now that he's got bloodlusted. I mean, it makes it even that much worse, of course. So
yeah.
But let's look on the good side of things here for QsQ, at least what I would think to be. Mage Bane up here, he is 12-1, is off to a very good start when it comes to creep farm, of course. And Dark Lady on the other hand, though, Dark Lady has proven time and time that she can definitely compete in a lane that may not be to her benefit. But Kalacious is in a little bit of trouble with Vagabond coming in with the nuke right there, and Moonmeander will pick up another kill. Mage Bane going to take some pressure. He'll blink away and be fine, but Moonmeander going from bottom to top, setting up a kill both of those lanes.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big oversight of what happened from Hag specifically. That double damage rune was up top for a long time. Literally, Ophelia came from the opposite jungle, walked all the way behind it, and then picked up the double damage before Hag even spotted it or went to it. And that's a pretty big deal because that clearly played a role in that kill right there. Not to mention they had vision of Ophelia picking it up, so you knew something was going to happen. QsQ just not playing well early on here.
Yeah, definitely after the slower start. So, you know, for QsQ's sake, that it can definitely just calm things down here and really, you know, look at the whole situation and try to ultimately just calm things down. But so far, 2-0 start here for Complexity, and things all across the board seem to be looking fairly good, because the point that I was just making before that kill is that Haxorn here on Dark Lady, despite it really being a 2 versus 1 lane for this whole game, she's still managing some decent creep farm. She's 11-0, and now she has an assist gold on top of that, and experience for that matter. So Tempest once again applying pressure to Wretched Hag, actually, with the stun and some auto attacks. But then you also have Tempest, for that matter. He's competing very nicely with this Wretched Hag, even beating him in creep farm, 15-7 compared to a 12-4, and actually going to race towards top. It's going to spawn regen, and Tempest will be able to bottle that up. So really, everything is coming together for Complexity right now.
I mean, if you consider the gank top through Moonmeander and the fact that Dark Lady still has, you know, 11 CS, they're basically winning every single lane. And they have a jungler. Now, the jungler isn't exactly farming that much compared to a passive jungler like Keeper, but he's, you know, creating plays and making space for the other lanes. So, yeah, Complexity's playing really well early on. Their lane setups were fantastic, and like I said, the Tempest mid is very, very strong and doing work.
Yeah, it is. LesQQ, excuse me, playing that Tempest. Of course, stepping in again as their 5th for now for Complexity, for this cycle at least, and doing just a fine job. So, Dark Lady, a little bit of pressure at the top lane. You see Mage Bane taking advantage, of course, of that mana combustion and burning some of the mana. But then the really scary thing is here, in fact, right on cue. Yeah, Pebbles going with the initiation. Chucks him back to Aluna, says, get back here, bitch. There's the Aluna stun. And the final auto attack coming out from Beakus. So I was just about to bring up the point. You got a Pebbles, especially now with that kill right there. He's at 375 gold per minute. Steam Boot's already finished. Another 500 quick gold saved up. Only 5 minutes into the game. It's, again, just all across the board, really looking strong here for Complexity. So right now, if you're QsQ, I mean, is there something obvious to you that you really need to just kind of just do here? Make happen.
Well, you got to get level 6 on tree, and you got to pressure towers. That's the only thing you can do. You're winning. You're losing every lane slowly, except for maybe top. But even then, of course, you still have Dark Lady 17 CS right now. This is why I love this hero so much, and why I kind of question why there was such a long period of time where we never see her or never saw her. But
yeah,
she can still get the CS. You need to pressure towers though if you're QsQ, because if you just stay in this kind of this mindset about, oh, well, I can't get anything here, I can't do anything there, come gank. Well, who can gank for you? No one can really gank on your team. Like, Bomb can't set anything up. Maybe Hag can. So maybe between the Wretched Hag and the Keeper of the Forest, get something started right there. But Bomb, he's going to suffer for another 10 minutes or so. And it's going to be really difficult for him to get anything here in this game.
You know, speaking of this Dark Lady Mage Bane matchup, it's kind of funny because it just so happens yesterday in the Sound Blaster finals for the qualifier of C1K versus Scar, we actually saw this matchup for the first time in a long time, it seemed like. Dark Lady versus Mage Bane. We used to see it all the time, especially when Complexity was in that reign of dominance, for that matter. And it is kind of funny now, here back-to-back days, we happen to see this matchup of Dark Lady versus Mage Bane, these two kind of carry melee heroes that just both disappeared somewhat off the competitive scene. But it is good to see at the same time because, you know, I agree with your points, especially with Dark Lady. The fact that she can farm so well in a handicap lane to an extent.
Yeah.
And still having an impact. Now, Now, when you do look at the big picture, I mean, Nox on Mageman, he is having a very good time. He is farming 350 gold per minute right now, and he actually just picked up his live tube, already finishing Steam Boots. He might be in a little bit of trouble, though, here, as Ophelia is coming over with the Skeleton King, and Dark Lady is ready to initiate. So Glacius running up right here, but there goes Dark Lady with initiation. The silence comes out. No Skeleton King net, though. It's just it's going the long way around, actually. A little bit of poor microing from Moon Meander, and it will be fine in the end. Glacius being chased, but I don't see that really happening too much. So, yeah, a little bit of a miss micro there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Moon Meander isn't exactly, I feel like, the most comfortable on a hero like Ophelia. Now, he did set up some good ganks, but that doesn't really require, huge microing. So, yeah, a little bit of a misplay. I have to agree with you there. It does send back Haxorin to get a lot of full HP and, all that jazz. And he'll TP back to the lane with full resources, and that's one of the beauties of having Ophelia on her team. And I will say, actually, though, that Moon does have good farm, partly because of the 2 kills that he has, including one of them being Bloodlust. But yeah, QsQ, they are in a deficit, or a definite deficit. Keeper the Forest trying to camp a rune bottom. Standing here, it is going to spawn bottom, but Luna picks it up first. Not exactly the most game-breaking rune, but it's going to pick that up.
Yeah, you see Wretched Hag actually running to Ophelia, but Ophelia is going to use that net from the Skeleton King and be more than fine, so good getaway for him. So you talked about this. We're 8 minutes into the game now. Keeper of the Forest really has yet to apply any pressure anywhere. Bombardier in a lot of trouble here at the bottom lane. The combo goes out. He is going to try to run away with those boots. He has a slight movement advantage, I believe, by 5, actually. So he's barely ahead, but it's not going to be enough. Beacon does get the final auto attack in there and takes him out. So, but yeah, Malay here on this Keeper. He was actually in the middle lane right there, but with this ward of sight that was placed in near the Congo pit just before he went there, I believe, he was spotted trying to set up a gank in middle. So he has had a very, very little to no impact, really, in this game so far, and his farm, only 230 gold per minute. So, yeah, it's really not able to take advantage of push just yet, I guess. Wretched actually still continuing to be in the middle lane. So, again, it really just seems like they're just trying to buy time here for this Mageman at this point to just get farm up at this top lane. Bottom lane, we actually might have initiation, though. Keeper the Force going with the invis. There's a root coming out. Stalagmite's going to be used, but the sticky bomb's applied. The freeze coming up from Glacius. Pebbles going to go for a kill himself, but the sticky bomb explodes, and down goes Pebbles right there. Wretched actually blinking in, and they are going to be able to set up a double tap out of this. Bronzy's in no man's land, and he will fall to Jonas and Fan. So there you go. I think that's what QsQ needed.
Yeah, very well done. They executed a gank on the hero that they needed to the most, and it was the most tanky hero on their team, so really well done. I have to say, though, Moon's ulti is off cooldown, and I feel like that could have bought a little bit more time to maybe set up a counter kill, at least on one of the heroes. And maybe that's why Franzi did stick around way too long, because I was wondering, okay, Pebbles is clearly going to die here, unless, of course, the heal came out, but even then, he was still going to die. He was trying to set up a counter kill, and that's why he stood up so far. And
right.
So, yeah, a couple little bit of miscommunication things right there. The tower is being pushed here. The bottom lane, double ports coming out. They don't obviously have the ult from Keeper yet. Here comes the stun from Tempest. He might maybe set up an ult here. Beacon's thinking about using the stun. Is he? Yeah, he is going to use the stun. There is the ultimate actually from Tempest. Catches 2. There's the toss. There's the power throw as well. 2 people go down. The tower does fall. And Haxon actually picks up a kill on the Nox in the meantime with assistance from Moonmander on Ophelia. So big exchange there for Complexity.
3 for nothing. Now the tower did fall in favor of QsQ. That's a good job by Malay using those minions to help finish it off. But I think Complexity can be pretty happy with that trade in the end. The fact that they got the 3 for nothing in hero kills. And yeah, unfortunate for Glacius right there. He had a right idea. He kind of figured that they were going to try to maybe Tempest ultimate that Keeper. Especially to get the vision, if anything, but he was just a little bit too close, and QsQ was able to land a great ultimate on both of them and ultimately set all that up. So very well played in the end by Complexity, and again, obviously don't know what really happened at the top lane, but Ophelia seems like did a pretty good job of locking him down, and Dark Lady took care of the rest. So Mageman is going to blink on a Dark Lady once again, but wouldn't dare go for a kill by any means, as obviously, unless he thinks the Mana Rift burst would be enough, probably not. He is going to be a little bit scared, though, because Ophelia's running in. Granted, the minions are here, so it's not like he's the most stealthy. But Ophelia does have that Invis rune, so going to try to set something up. But tower exchange going on in the meantime, as actually Mageman will blink away and be fine. But the gold and experience advantage especially still remains in favor of Complexity. Nearly a 4,000 experience advantage, and there's the portal key on Pebbles.
Yep.
That's, of course, a big item pickup.
Yeah, it's really huge, and specifically to set up kills onto Bombardier and Wretched Hag. Bombardier has the Ghost Marchers, but it has only 700 HP, actually 550 right now, so they're taking a little bit of damage. The tier 2 actually does fall in favor of QsQ, so if they're able to get out scot-free right here, that's going to be a big exchange for them. Bombardier's in a lot of trouble, though.
Yeah, Pebbles like, I got this. He helps clean him up, despite that sticky bomb. Keeper was right here with a root, actually, but again, it just would have really probably wouldn't have done anything. So, yeah, good job by Mali, honestly. Just not really panicking right there, figuring that, okay, he got caught out. Let's just let him die and not waste our cooldowns, because now we can try to set something up on a Darkly. Darkly going aggressive himself, but at what cost right here? Out of mana now completely. Haxerin is definitely going to fall right here. The root's going to come out. There's the mana rip for added damage. Ophelia heal is going to come in, actually. Support is nearby, and actually Haxerin may be fine here. Luna running in, and oh my god, Haxerin will live, but now Ophelia's in trouble. Bat Blast connecting. Sonar Screen going to be coming out in 2 seconds to try to maybe finish him off. Good job with the Skeleton King, though, putting the net out. There's the Blink Sonar Scream, though, and down he goes Ophelia. But now Wretched Hag in a lot of trouble. Jonathan Fan blanking a little bit too far ahead, and she will end up falling, making it a 1-for-1. So, honestly, a very good save on Darkly right there. Good juke on Haxerin's part with those Ghost Marchers and setting up a 1-for-1 in the end.
Yeah, I think Bomb just hit 6. I think if he had that ultimate, obviously it would have been a for sure kill. But I believe he just hit 6. Also, the Courier died, and it did drop items. It was the Hellborn's Courier.
Ooh.
But Moonmander was able to pick up, I think, one of the things. I think maybe both of them.
Oh, he has a mana 2.
He does have the mana 2 from Haxer, and I think maybe there was a Ward of Sight on there as well. But nonetheless, the Courier did go down. But nothing, 400 gold can't fix. So he already buys it and then upgrades it. So
yeah. I mean, that would have been a pretty big deal if they could have destroyed that mana tube. Obviously, that would really slow down Darkly's Runed Cleaver, but...
yeah, 900 gold, basically.
Yeah, in the end, she does get in. She does finish her Sustainer, so good news for... Complexity there. How about Beacon, by the way? I mean, I know we mentioned he got the portal key, but it was at 11.5 minutes, man. That was an early portal key, especially with a death on his belt. So, Steam Boots Power Supply portal key already on him. Obviously, already has had an impact, and I'm sure will continue to so far. Jonas a fan on Wretched Hag. Remember, he was middle against this Tempest here. His farm's not too shabby, 314 gold per minute right now. And he actually does have an Arcana working on those Steam Boots, it looks like. And actually, they're going to go for a kill on a Darkly. There's the Airstrike. Not going to be enough for that kill, actually. Good dodge at the last second by Haxerin. And that is going to be enough for a getaway. Very, very good dodge on his part, despite Styles' attempts to finish him off. And in the meantime, top tower is going to fall.
You know, that was a very good juke by Haxerin. I gotta say, though, look at Nova's build specifically on Glacius.
Whoa.
If he had the 3 points in the Glacial Blast, that would have killed him with the health that Haxerin lived with. I don't understand why he would do this. We never see this
nowadays. Yeah, never.
We just because we like to see them, the burst potential from as many heroes as possible. So it's a very interesting, skill build there.
That's classic, man. I mean, Nova was definitely around when that was with a popular build, but that hasn't been around forever, where the aura max out. You're right. I mean, that is very strange, and no doubt that would have been a kill on a Darkly. So you really do got to question that coming out. In the meantime, though, more tower exchanging going on. It is a secondary for secondary. So it does still remain a gold lead, though, overall for Complexity. Good job cleaning out some stacked Ancients, though, by QsQ, the Complexity side, that is. And they're going to get some decent farm out of this. Yeah, that is strange. I am definitely a little bit baffled by that. But in the end, Magebane does have a Rune Cleaver, actually. Just got that delivered. 15-minute Rune Cleaver with Steam Boots. Not shabby at all.
Right.
And into the jungle he goes. So we'll keep an eye on. And again, he is the top farm in the game. 435 gold per minute, actually. Oh, Pebbles finds Glacius. No, but you're going to drop. Magebane blinked in, took a stun himself. But in the end, no more further damage going to happen.
Yeah, and they did not even have vision right there. I bet Glacius is thinking, oh, they had a ward right there, I'm going to counter. They actually don't have vision, so maybe, I don't know, Beacon was just watching the way that Nova was moving and just predicted where he was and got a very, very easy kill out of it. So the experience lead definitely in favor of Complexity right now. You do have Magebane, of course, though, with that Rune Cleaver, and will be farming very, very fast at this point, but you got to make sure that the other heroes in your team get farm as well.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I am trying to make a big push here in the middle lane, by the way. Tempest and Ophelia with a creep wave. That tower will just drop. What is that now? That's 4 tower kills for Complexity. And then you have 4 tower kills, actually, for QsQ. So both teams tied in tower kills here. Magebane needs to be careful. You do see Ophelia running over. He's going to blink, but he doesn't really realize it yet. There is no vision in their own jungle. And he does have a blink up in 1 second. We'll see Ophelia and actually blinks away in time. But the portal key from Tempest actually gets a stun. Here comes Pebbles. Can he get in range for Stalagmites? Yes, he can. Is there support? No, there's not. Magebane will fall right here. Nox goes down, slowing down his farm. Great catch from Complexity. And yeah, the vision right now, it's very aggressive vision coming out from QsQ. Magebane just gets caught there.
Yeah, I agree. Their vision is just not what it needs to be. to protect him in the jungle or wherever he needs to farm. And that kill right there is huge. That's going to give Haxorin basically enough time to get that Rune Cleaver by the time that Magebane respawns. And it's going to farm much faster, I feel, than Magebane at this point because of the amount of map control that Complexity has and the aggressive nature of the portal key on the Pebbles. So, and in the meantime, also they're taking Kongor as well. And Haxorin, he is playing a little bit safe up top too, so he's not dying. They're wasting resources trying to gank him. They're not going to gank him. In the meantime, you get Kongor killed. So things are not looking too good for QsQ right now.
Yeah, it is definitely connecting all across the board here for Complexity. Again, the shining hope here for QsQ was really Magebane, and the farm that he's definitely had this game. Still continuing to have for that matter. It is still very impressive, 400 gold per minute. Despite that death, but yeah, this with the Congo, as you said, the Rune Cleaver is actually now going to be able to be picked up by Darklit. He has enough for the double broadsword. In fact, there you go. You got the portal key on Tempest, as we just saw there. You got a token of life now on Pebbles, who just hit level 11. It is coming together very nicely, to say the least, for Complexity. We're only 18 minutes into the game, by the way. It really feels like we're even a little bit further in, but it definitely has been somewhat of an aggressive game. It's good to see. Portal key just picked up by Keeper, by the way, so they do have that initiation now to work with. And I was also going to mention that, as you saw too, they were trying to set up a gank up here on a Darklity, but I really feel like they weren't patient enough. They had a Keeper coming with an Invis ready to try to jump Darklity, but Glacius tried to charge in himself with Striders, and Darklity just easily reacted. So, yeah, definitely missing out on a chance there to get a possible kill. But Bombardier finally finishes something. He does get a tablet. It seems like Style is somewhat recovering, but this is definitely not the impactful Bombardier game that they're used to having out of Style, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's the lane setup. Like I said from the beginning, had he been mid, it would have been a completely different story. And I feel like he would have done really, really well against a solo Tempest. And Wretched Hag, she held her own, but she really came out, even with Tempest. If not, actually, Tempest had a higher creep score than him. Wretched Hag's in a little bit of trouble here. A little bit of trouble here in the top lane. I think he'll be tanky enough with investments to withstand the gank from Pebbles. They were maybe going to try to set up something with Pebbles plus a Luna Snipe if they can time it. Maybe they'll go a Luna Snipe. If it hits, then Pebbles will engage. But Pebbles is thinking twice about it.
Well, you see Keeper up here. He's just having some fun, doing some damage on the tower. It still has plenty of life. So, in fact, Pebbles jumps in and actually takes out the creeps right there. And Keeper the Forest realizing, all right, my time here is done. He's going to port back to base and be fine with the end result. So, but yeah, again, you do look at Darklity's farm. I mean, that's what happens, man. The Rune Cleaver gets picked up, and all of a sudden, she's up to 423 and counting. She is, in fact, getting neck to neck with Magebane all of a sudden. For this whole game, Magebane has had a comfortable 100+ gold lead per minute over Darklity. Not anymore. It's definitely looking a lot better for Complexity in that sense too. So, again, things are just really coming together nicely for Complexity. Abyssal Skull is going to be finished here on Magebane, however, so we'll have that to at least start taking advantage of once again. But
yeah, the key hero here for QsQ is not Magebane at all. It's the Wretched Hag. Yep. And they really need to get a health power up onto her because Shrunken Head is in the works for B-Kid on the Pebbles. I'm pretty sure he has that in like 200 gold. And there's no way you can kill him, nor really anybody on the team without that health power to lock them down. I think Darkly is going to go for a Shrunken Head really quickly herself. And that's going to be the key hero here for QsQ, not the Magebane. Because late game versus late game, Dark Lady has Magebane's number. But with a supporting cast behind Magebane, specifically the Wretched Hag, they will be fine. But they are in a huge hole right now. I mean, 5,000 gold, 8,200 experience.
Yeah, again, just coming up to 21 minutes into the game right now. So I know we kind of touched on this a little bit. I actually want to go back to it pending some action here. It looks like, ooh, that's at least, I think those were double stack ancients stolen by Complexity, specifically Dark Lady. So even more farm for her and, well, less farm out of Super Q Squad. But anyways, this Glacius build, and again, trying to think logic here. Now, they do have a couple of spammy heroes in the sense of, especially Bombardier and Wretched Hag, who do use plenty of mana constantly, sure. And, so maybe there's a little bit of that with figuring that with those heroes, they have plenty of burst damage. But still, yeah, I just don't know if you could make the valid argument that passing up more damage on your Tundra Blast, especially for the sake of one more mana regeneration at this point, literally, isn't really that worth it. We do see initiation here at the top lane, though. Keeper the Force in a little bit of trouble. He's going to be chain silenced here. Red stun from Luna. Not going to hit. She will go for the power throw instead. Wretched Hag is jumped to the back of my Pebbles. There's the green stun from Luna, and down she goes. Keeper of the Force is going to be able to survive here as a result, but I still think Complexity, they're happy with the Wretched Hag kill, despite the Keeper not killed.
Yeah, Moonmander is walking up here. He might be in a little bit of trouble, though. Or actually, Bomb could be in a little bit of trouble. He uses the tablet. There's the double micro of the Skeleton Kings. Look at the damage coming out onto him. He will get away for now. They might pursue him. I believe the red throw is actually on cooldown, or is it? I'm not 100% sure. Where is Luna? Where is Luna?
It is, yeah.
It is on a cooldown, so not able to snipe him out. But yeah, I mean, Complexity's just looking pretty strong right now. And they just have QsQ's number. Like, they have so much map control from start to finish. And Magebane, he's died 2 times, hasn't been able to assist in a kill. And Style, of course, had a very, very horrible start bottom. And like I mentioned, I really feel like Hag should have been in that bottom lane and not Style on the Bombardier, because Bombardier is a hero that you can just dive over and over. Not even that, we saw with the Bloodlust. He just played way too aggressively, and it really just did not pay off.
Yep. Now this middle tower, it's definitely going to fall right here. Can Bombardier maybe deny it? He's not even going to go for it. It will fall, and Complexity will get full credit for that. So now the only outer tower remaining is that bottom one. Meanwhile, Darkly is actually getting dropped right. The airstrike was used on top of Magebane's Mana Rift, but it's still not enough for the kill. The cover of darkness from Darklady actually in the end is going to force it to fall back in. Calacius will be caught out here, so the gank attempt fails. Ophelia, though, she's going to turn on a Wretched Hag, actually, as it looked like they were initiating onto her, so good job at Moonmeander. The sticky bomb explodes, stunning all the minions and herself, and she will lose everything, though. But hey, she got a turnaround at least onto Wretched Hag, so not too shabby. And again, Darklady surviving at the top lane, especially, or bottom lane, excuse me. Well, even better.
She got the first kill on the Wretched Hag solo by himself. That's a huge deal. Now, getting Wretched Hag caught into that stun combination with the double Skeleton Kings and the Minotaur, and then of course your Nature's Wrath. It's only level 1, but it does help a little bit with plus 7% damage taken. And then the Ophelia's Judgment, 300 magic damage. I mean, that's a lot of damage to a 1,000 HP Wretched Hag. And catching Wretched Hag, like I said, Wretched Hag is the one that's really going to have to be making the big plays here in the rest of the game for QsQ. Yeah, obviously you have a good, well-farming Magebane who's nearing that 500 gold per minute mark. That's great, but I really feel like it's going to be the Wretched Hag, specifically with the Hellflower, that's going to have to make things happen.
Yeah. So Magebane, he is going the Iceburn and eventually the Frostburn out. He is passing up the Shrunken Head.
Yeah.
Do you like that in this game here?
I feel like he's going to have to go this and then have to get Shrunken Head at some point. Just being able to withstand the stuns that the Hellborn team has, the Glacial Blast, and then specifically getting out of the silence from the Dark Blades from Darklady is going to be the biggest thing. When you talk about huge counters to Magebane, it's another hard carry in Darklady that can just silence you.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely going to have to get it at some point.
There he goes. He's trying to deliver something. Okay, Homecoming Stone. He just drops his Logger's Hatchet there, so no more need for that. But Pebbles is going to push up the bottom lane. But in the meantime, look at the top lane. Luna sitting up for a flank. Here we go. Darklady's ready to go in, as is Ophelia. The target of choice is going to be that Keeper, looks like. And Nature's Wrath comes out. He does put the root out, but just too many stuns happening. He tries to go invis. It ain't going to be enough, though. Keeper will fall. The rest will pour it out. But it does end up being the 1-for-0 exchange in favor of Complexity. And QsQ will find themselves in retreat mode. So Jonas and Fan has continued to be so close to finishing this Hellflower, but still is just out of reach of it. We'll probably be finishing it here now in the next minute or so. But in the meantime, they could start taking pressure into their base. There is no more Token of Life, of course, on Pebbles, so they don't have that to deal with at least. But their base is going to start taking some pressure, and we'll see what QsQ does to actually protect this. Now, Bombardier is great at this, of course, creep clearing that is. And you see right there with the sticky bump, plenty of damage, but Ophelia the Astrolabe heal, and she does have her ultimate in that Ophelia's touch as well. So the pressure is going to continue. There's a bombardment as well as another sticky bomb coming out, really trying to keep them off. Obviously, you don't expect a full initiation by any means from Complexity here, but they're going to get as much damage in there. And it looks like they're going to start retreating now. Oh, never mind. Shrunken Head just delivered to Darklady. This could be the go-to here for Complexity now.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing is that right before Tree died, he used the ultimate, which is a great counter to Tempest, and that might be a Q. Now, the Mana Rift can cancel it as well, even to the Tempest Shrunken Head, which Les QQ does have. But it's not really the target of choice.
Here we go. Pebbles jumps in and says, get over the bomb. Oh, what a great tablet from Bombardier. There's that Tempest ultimate, though. It's not going to be stopped. Down goes Bombardier. Cover of darkness comes out. Glacius will probably fall as well. Magebane trying to blink away. He finally will, but in the end, he's solo on life. not much you can do. Wretched Hag jumps in. She still doesn't have the Hellfire. She actually picks up a Mighty Blaze. We're not even going to finish it just yet. She blinks away in time. Pebbles really committed here, as he needs to be careful not to get turned on. 7 seconds on that route, by the way, coming out from Keeper. He does have a porta key in 1 second. Will they look to initiate right here? All four are clumped up. Here's the Q. There's the route coming out. Pebbles not caught, but everyone else is. The Mana Rift tears through. Tempest right there. Now the choice is going to be Ophelia. Looks like a Luna comes in with a green stem, but Ophelia just too much damage. Pebbles thinking about going in himself, but it's just not going to happen. Now Pebbles actually sticking in there. He is going to combo. Darkening jumps back in, but now Darkening needs to be careful as well. There's the Taint Soul. Yes, Magebane will fall. Magebane does not have a buyback. Bat Blast going to be used by Wretched Hag. Pebbles, it looks like going to be enough damage. Maybe one more auto attack going to do him in. Maybe the HoN will take him. It looks like it will. The airstrike actually guarantees that, but now Darkening still wants some more blood. Keeper the Force going to try to juke and jive. The Taint Soul finishing him off. Glacial Phrase. There's the Glacial Downpour, but on the turnaround on the Glacius. Darkening picking up a hat trick. And is this over just yet? Bombardier missing the tablet over the ledge, actually. They want to chase, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I think it's over, Trell.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, that was some like pretty silly diving to start there from Complexity, but Haxorn's just so farmed, and his positioning was perfect throughout the entire exchange, and was able to pick up all of those kills basically by himself at the end there.
Yeah.
And so his positioning was just pristine. It was perfect. They didn't get the racks, but it's not really a big deal. You have just that much more farm onto Dark Lady, and she's already wrecking this fight. You finally have the Hellflower finished by Wretched Hag. But yeah, it's not over just yet. I mean, they did hold the racks, which is good for QsQ. And obviously they were fighting that fight without the Keep of the Forest ultimate. The Tempest ultimate, I believe, hit 3 people for the full duration, and including one of them being Magebane, which is the only hero that could have canceled at that time.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, you made that point going into that fight, and sure enough, Tempest definitely got the great catch right there to start it all off. So I think I might have been a little bit wrong there. Again, there's just a lot going on, but I think Jodasafan has had that Mighty Blade for a little bit here, but he does actually finish the Hellflower, as you put it. So, but again, Shrunken Head very likely could be that next item choice for him. But the fact that he has the Hellflower, big news. Mana 2 picked up by Ophelia, and we know what that usually means. Probably going to expect to see that Storm Spirit here in the near future. The item that you absolutely love, Trev. And then we do got Haxorin actually picking up now a Firebrand on his way to his next. Conqueror is up, though, and it seems like Complexity is very interested in doing the Conqueror now. So they're going to scout around the pit, though, and actually, QsQ does need to be careful here, specifically Wretched Hag, who blinks away in time. But that was definitely pretty close. So it looks like that's going to be enough. Actually, Ophelia's chasing big time here. But no, it's just going to be too much. So falling back.
Yeah, I don't even think she was chasing. Just wanted to get a creep and just happened to find Magebane in the same vicinity. So, but they are doing Conqueror. There's very, very little vision coming out from QsQ. They do take out the top tower. But is it going to be enough? Conqueror is dropping so fast. They're not putting up a fight. It will go down. And having a Token of Life up on the Dark Lady at this time, I'm sure Dark Lady will pick it up, but not Pebbles this go around.
What does she sell, though? Okay, she did sell the Homecoming Stones there.
Yeah, this is very, very scary now for QsQ. I mean, they could have coordinated fights now with that, or before with the Hellflower, just burst down Dark Lady and then fight the fight from there. Now it's totally different. Dark Lady is just going to have free reign. Now, the mindset you have to go into in the next fight is burst down Pebbles immediately, or burst down Tempest immediately. Probably Pebbles, because you're just going to be concerned about canceling the ultimate from Tempest. But
yeah,
you burst down Pebbles, doesn't matter. Dark Lady's going to have a free reign in that fight, because you're not going to target her. And he knows that. He knows a smart team is not going to target her, because that would be the worst thing you could do. So with that knowledge, it's going to, help out Haxorn in these team fights, being able to just go on anybody and not have a care in the world.
Yeah, when you look at the damage chart, I'm sure a lot of it came from the last fight, honestly, especially with how it ended. But we have 19% overall hero damage done by Dark Lady, so excuse me, she is definitely on top there as far as leading those charts, and definitely good news, of course, for Complexity. So yeah, we'll see what QsQ does here. I mean, how do they respond to this? Definitely, pushing towers, keeping them distracted, specifically this Wretched Hag. And actually, Magebane is, of course, also very good at that, really kind of just trying to distract the other team as far as having the good escape ability, the fact that he can blink so often, of course. Really helpful for him. But again, I will say, I mean, look at Noxus Farm, man. Despite him even dying now for 5, he's 2. Oh no, that's Bombardiers, but he's 2, 3, and 3, so he's died 3 times this game. He is still the top farmer in the game at 526 gold per minute. He does continue to farm very, very well, honestly. So,
well, Magebane's probably one of the fastest farmers in the game, if not the fastest farmer in the game. You compare him to something like a Draconis, but
yeah.
he just has the built-in flash ability, the built-in blink ability, which is 6-second cooldown, I believe. Yeah, it is, and that coupled up with the rune cleaver just makes it so easy to be mobile and just blink around the map and farm every bit of all the resources that you can. And so yeah, there's no doubt about it. But just thinking about how effective is he going to be in the very late stages of the game compared to a Dark Lady. I can't believe this is only 30 minutes in with all the items that were are being shot out here.
That's right, yeah.
But comparing specifically Dark Lady to Mage Bane, I just feel like Dark Lady wins every single time, which is why I said that the focus, I feel like, for this Legion team needs to be on the Hag. Mage Bane's going to be blinking in, creating a lot of chaos, trying to maybe slow people with his Frostburn, and hopefully eventually turning that into a Frostwolf Skull. And then letting the damage be done, specifically the initiation part, with the Hellflower on the Wretched Hag. But like I said, with the Token of Life being up on the Dark Lady, that changes everything. And you're going to be kind of on the back foot for the next 7 minutes or so.
Yeah, I mean, and also I'm looking at this. I mean, you have a level 7 Glacius, by the way. Nova just hasn't been able to do much. He did get the Bound Eye earlier, but especially with him only being level 7, very squishy. It looks like Wretched Hag actually does have the Bound Eye now, so I thought maybe the Helper team got it.
He's 1-6-2. Has really had little impact this game.
Well, you also look at the build, so he doesn't even end up maxing out the R. He actually now goes to another level into Tundra Blast. So clearly, it's just I don't know. I still don't get that choice. But obviously that's that's not here or there anymore. That is the past. But again, he is only level 7. You compare that to Luna, who's level 11, so 4 levels lower than his counterpart on the opposition. Not good news there. Now, Wretched Hag, so you talk about her being the focus. I mean, she's getting close to that Shrunken Head and close to the level 16, of course. And that's definitely a big mark for her, so that'll be good news. But Bombardier, keep going back to him. Not that it's been Styles' fault by any means, especially going back to the laning phase, which is just a very odd choice by QsQ. He continues to not have a major impact. I mean, again, going back to the damage charts, 8%, he's down there as one of the worst. And for a Bombardier especially, you expect him to be up there, if not leading those charts. I mean, he has so many spammable hero damage abilities throughout the laning phase and team fights and whatnot. So, not good.
He just had a terrible laning phase. And part of it was a little bit of his fault, to be frank, but it also was just the nature of Bomb going against 3 heroes aggressively with an Ophelia. And they didn't have vision of that Ophelia. So it's really hard, and I feel like the laning phase did screw him up big time. And as a result, we see him with the items in the farm that he has right now.
So while we are sitting in this pause, apparently Hack's going to have to step out real quickly. Hopefully he's back soon. But just a quick recap. Obviously, this is game number 1 here in this best out of 3. We are in the losers bracket, round of 4, kicking off our coverage here for the weekend for HoN Tour, of course, Diamond Division. This is our first coverage of the day. Obviously, as always on the weekends, we have a double header coming at you. So after this series, we will be coming at you with the winners bracket finals of Stay Green versus Trademark Esports. I know a lot of people are really excited to see that one, including ourselves. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But this also another great matchup that we're anticipating, and sure enough, we're here and getting as expected, a good solid first game here. So, but it looks like it has resumed, of course. So into game 1 we go again. You look at both teams right here. Actually, QsQ, they're going to really push in the bottom and the middle lane. And as you always say, Trelf, if you're ahead, you definitely want to look to defend. Nope, QsQ's actually going to fall back. And they are going to go to defending. That's actually Dark Lady. She charged into the melee racks way ahead of everyone else. Jumps on a Glacius right there, but he falls back quickly. So Complexity forcing QsQ actually to fall back here.
Yeah, this is part of the reason why I said he has full reign. He can be as aggressive as he wants to.
Pebbles, that's a free kill right there. Mage Bane jumps into the counterpart onto Pebbles, so silence of the Hellfire comes down on Pebbles. There's the airstrike on top of that, but Pebbles more than fine. Mage Bane is dropping actually to Dark Lady. He finally will be able to blink away before death, but shows you how much damage Dark Lady can do. The melee racks and vulnerability going to be used right there, but they will eventually fall. I do not see QsQ stopping that, so there we go. And mission accomplished already coming out for Complexity. Ophelia Heal is going to be used right there, so definitely earlier on, but wants to get his creeps amongst everyone else. Just a good amount of life going up. But they're going to kill the ranged racks and not really look to overcommit here, are they? They jump in, actually does Dark Lady, but no counter. But again, with that token alive, it really is making a struggling decision time here on QsQ. So in a sense, they basically give up the melee racks.
I mean, they actually played it quite well, to be honest. They didn't use any huge cooldowns. They knew they're not winning a fight. Like, you're not winning a fight with the Token of Life being up on a Dark Lady. And then Nova, of course, just gets absolutely disintegrated. Dies yet again.
Yeah.
And it's basically free food for this Pebbles anytime he wants it. And that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Especially if you're that lonely Glacius, as he's 1-7-2 this game. But they did play it well. Like, they know they can't fight them right now. They need to just concede the racks. It's not that big of a deal, to be honest. Like, you can come back from a game like this down 1 racks. You have a Wretched Hag, you have a Mage Bane, and you have a Bomb who's actually getting pretty close to his Sheepstick, but despite his terrible, terrible start.
Yeah.
So you need to just avoid that fight, even if it's your racks, and hopefully fight when the token's down. But look, they pushed right after that token. He still got it for another 4 minutes. So they can just do the same thing again. They just need to group up again before that token fades. And that looks like that's what they're doing.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're going to go finish off what remains to be the last Outer Tower here. Actually on QsQ side. And speaking of that, QsQ is going to push the last Outer Tower on Complexity side here at the top lane. But easily this bottom one is going to go down first. And as you stated, still with 3.5 minutes on this token of life. So QsQ, you know, it's one thing to give up the 1 set of racks. I don't know if you can give up another set of racks. As crappy as the situation is, you definitely need to try to make a move here. You really just cannot give it up. So they're going to lose the tower, of course, but here we go. They jump into Pebbles in the background, actually. Bad Blast going to come out and everything. Magebane is back here, but the Tempest ultimate, pulling Magebane and Wretched Hag back in. Pebbles going to go with the combo. The Keeper Root finally coming out. Pebbles will fall. Now the Mana Rift, yes, it is going to be enough, actually, but Dark Hoodie jumps in, tearing up Magebane, tearing him a new one, and Magebane will fall. The Dark Blades are just too powerful, man. Everyone else is still alive here for Complexity. No more damage left over in QsQ as Keeper the Force gets picked off. You see Wretched Hag trying to stand her ground. She takes out Tempest, but in the end results in the death herself. So Complexity in a dominating spot, and it looks like QsQ's had enough. Game number 1 will go to Complexity here as they finish off strong. And again, that token alive, man. Big plays there at the end. It just really cost QsQ. Put in a very tough spot, and they could not make it happen. So well played.
Yeah, absolutely. It just goes to show you, you know, Haxer on Dark Lady was still farming that short lane, still getting good CS from the beginning.
Yeah.
And that all led up to the point that we got there towards the end. And ultimately out-farmed Magebane, even in that 1v2 situation. But to think about it, you know, you had good roam specifically from Moon. Like, he set up the kill bottom, the Bloodlust. He got the double damage top, which was left by Wretched Hag, by the way. I didn't mention that. He used that double damage to get a kill onto Glacius. And it did free up just a little bit of space for Haxer on Dark Lady. But just overall, better lanes from Complexity.
Yeah, again, it is very odd because you mentioned it's not something we see a lot, that pseudo-aggressive trial lane, but you talked about lately how Complexity has done that, and QsQ, it seemed like that they were aware, specifically how they sent Magebane and Glacius top.
Yeah,
but again,
that was fine.
That was fine, but it's just a decision of Wretched Hag middle and then Bombardier bottom. It was like, wait a second, you had it halfway right.
Yeah.
Why not go full right? I don't know. It was very odd, and you could definitely, you know, put blame there, whatever. But obviously, in the end, not to take anything away from Complexity, did play very well, as you would expect, and they take game number 1. So with that said, as always, we are going to take a short break here, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, we will have game number 2. You do not want to miss it. Complexity taking on QsQ. Will we see a game 3? Well, sit tight, stay tuned. We'll be right back.